Welcome back, humans! You know what day it is. And before I get started, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notifications because I'm here twice a week. And if you enjoy what you're seeing here, smash that like button while you're at it. And let's go. Let's get on with this event. Just playing. So, a lot of people they've been doing this Jordan LeBron debate. You know, they've been saying like so and so's better and this person's better and so people have been going back and forth and have their own arguments. And there's these really funny reaction videos that crack me up all the time. So I've been seeing these guys that are LeBron James fans, and they've been reacting to Jordan highlights. And the shit is funny as hell to me. This one person in particular, I forget what his name is, and he actually crossed sides. He like switched to the dark side. You know, he ended up saying that Jordan was the GOAT, and like switched it up and admitted on his video that Jordan was the GOAT, and it was really funny. I would have to say Jordan is the GOAT because it was in my era. And I mean, just I'm saying, like, you guys didn't see what this dude did live. It was just crazy and amazing and spectacular. And in my opinion, they're almost like two different players. But anyways, this guy, you know, watching these highlights and during this video, the duration of the video, he was just like literally getting sicker and sicker, or like his feelings were getting hurt. And you could kind of see his opinions like swaying over. You could see it like shifting really fast as the video went on. So like more and more highlights, he was, you know, oh my gosh, you know. And he sees the highlights with Jordan's defense, and he has like over 9 steals in a game. And this dude's just going crazy. And he gets to the point where he gets so mad because he's a LeBron James fan, so he's got a poster of LeBron in the back. And it's like a nice poster of LeBron James in his Laker jersey. And you see him at one point, you know, just give the dirty look back at the poster during one of these highlights of Jordan, like, you know, and then he stops in the middle of the video and he's like, look, all right, you know, and he finally admits it. He's like, look, he's the GOAT. You know, he says it hands down. I mean, doesn't mean it's fact now or anything like that, but in his opinion, he ended up switching sides. And then before the video was over, he like rips the poster off the wall. And I just thought it was really funny. I just thought it was hilarious. Oh man, but you could see him getting nervous, you know, like as the video went on, like as the highlights were going, you could see him getting more nervous as it went on, and it was just really funny. His emotions were switching for the worst. And then, you know, it's funny. Then he started reacting on other players after that. But it was pretty entertaining watching him go through that emotional roller coaster over the Jordan highlights. And like I said, he looked pretty nervous, you know. And there's a lot of things that make people nervous, you know, funny things that make people nervous. You ever notice, like, not just yourself, not only the things like from yourself that make you nervous, but like just when you notice in people in general, like even if you're not breaking the law and like you see the police, like all of a sudden somebody just gets all nervous and paranoid, like, oh damn, there's the cops. I'm like, okay, we're stopped at a red light. You know, we ain't doing anything wrong, man. What are you freaking out over, you know? Or somebody gets all nervous like that, you know? Or like myself, like I'd be like I'm nervous around somebody like when I was younger and single, I would get super nervous and shy around like a super pretty girl or something. I would just get like locked up. I could be telling like a hella story, laughing and being loud and entertaining, and then all of a sudden I get around a pretty girl and I would just like lock up. I would just be like the Warner Brother frog, you know what I'm saying? Like I'd be all singing that "Hello, my baby," you know, and then when people are around, it was like zoop. I ain't saying shit, and it's just funny when people just get nervous, you know, and it was weird, you know, but. Speaking of things that made me nervous, like I said, I'm going to keep it on this nervous tip. Or like if you had to sit into a test, you know, you're in a test at school or you're a test at work. All of a sudden you're working, you know, you've been at a job for years, and all of a sudden like, hey, you got to take this test. It's all about this and this and this. I'm like, oh shit, you know, it just catch you off guard. But so I bring up making nervous because I was at the grocery store. Me and the wife, you know, we went out shopping, did some running around, and finished ended it off with some grocery grocery shopping for some things, you know, to do a little cooking on the grill and things and whatnot. And we're doing our shopping. And sometimes if we got like a big list, we'll kind of split it. I'll run down this aisle, you run this way. We'll grab, and kind of fill up our stuff. Kind of tag team the grocery list. You know what I'm saying? and so we're at the grocery store, and it was really awkward. It was weird. It wasn't that packed, which was another weird thing. Lately, when we were going to the grocery store, there have been lines, like insane lines all the way down, and they barely have any lanes open. And that scenario was the same. There was barely any lanes open, but there wasn't no super long lines. It was weird. So we're shopping. That part was already weird. I'm like, damn, looks like we're going to get in and out. And I made a joke when I got in there because the way the lines have been so crazy. And the parking lot looked all packed too. So it was this weird. I walk in, I go, hey, I'll go wait in line, just to make a joke. And she was like, right, So we're at the store, and we see people like, everybody shopping. But then it seemed like we just kept crossing paths with this one person. It was really weird. Like, all of a sudden they're right there. All of a sudden we almost crashed carts. And then they're like in behind us, and we turn around and then all of a sudden they act like they're grabbing some other product. And it was awkward as hell. It was almost like they had the same grocery list, or they were like stalking. We were getting stalked. I felt like we were getting stalked. So it was making me like, note. At first you didn't notice, you're just kind of like, whoop, And then the third time I'm like, man, this is like that same person. And so you start paying attention. You don't say nothing yet. You just kind of keep it to yourself. And you're, going to another store, and you see, going to another aisle, and then you see that person kind of like at the end of the aisle, and I'm like, man, did this person just like peep if we were just, coming this way? And so I was like, oh, try to change directions real quick and tell my wife, let's go this way. I did like the little test. Let's see if we're getting followed test. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, let's just go back this way real quick, and grab some of these. I forgot what it was. I was just like, I don't even think I might even just said some of these. So I was like, made an excuse for us to turn back around. And so I go back, and it pops out the aisle, and sure enough, that fucking person was like right there. And that's when I finally told my wife, I'm like, man, I think there's this person like stalking us, or scoping us out, or I don't know what they're gonna do. What's going on here? And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, this person here. She goes, oh, now that you think about it, yeah, this person's kind of popping all around. I was like, I don't know this person. Me neither. You know what I'm saying? So we were all like, getting a little nervous. I was like, I might say something. I can't help myself sometimes. I might say something. If we cross paths again, I might like, oh, hey, try this conversation up, or like, oh, excuse me. You know what I'm saying? Or how you doing? As you cross by, something weird. Or how are those? Something in the cart. Just to say, break something, because it was awkward, man. They're kind of weird. There's so many people in the store, and you just kept going where we were going. And it made me nervous. Like, that made me really nervous. I don't know about you, but if I felt like, had to do the test, and this person kept just coming up in our area everywhere we'd go. And I was like intentionally trying to go different directions, and this person would just be where we're at. It was really awkward. And like I said, it made me super uncomfortable. And I wanted to say something. So I did. Like I said, I started trying to talk about shit in your cart, sitting in the grocery cart. I was just like, just got all nervous. I had to break the ice somehow. I had to break the ice. Fucking following people at the grocery store. That ever happened to y'all in the comments? That's such weird, man. I encounter some nice people all the time when we're grocery shopping. Thank goodness. People say some nice things. But this was just weird. It was just weird. Speaking of weird. Oh my goodness. Well, it's here. I mean, I'm sure there's been sort of a line of clothing of this sort, but now it's like mainstream. It's trending. Men's lingerie. Yeah, that's right, humans. Men's lingerie. They were, I don't know if you guys want to see pictures. I don't know if I want to share these pictures, but it was like men's lingerie, man. It was like the lacy, like, how a woman wears like lacy underwear and like, the see-through lace and stuff like that. It was like, there's like things like this in this line of clothing. And then there's also little kinky things, where it looks like just a little patch. You know what I'm saying? A little patch to cover your junk, and some weird diamond stringy thing, with a matching tie and all that kind of stuff. But it's like they're calling it lingerie. They're not calling it like, fun clothing or maybe erotic clothing. They're calling it like lingerie. And there's even this like shirt that's supposed to be like a tank top, you know, and it matches the underwear, and it's this lacy. Man, it don't even look right to me. Like I don't know. I don't know. It's funny, man. I'm sure it's probably. I mean, if you guys were having fun with it, it's not like something you're gonna wear every day, or is it? I don't know if that's your thing. But to me, it was just really funny. Now they're coming out with just too many. There's just too much stuff coming out nowadays. It just don't surprise me anymore. But yeah, men's lingerie, and I don't know. I mean, you're gonna have some. Are we gonna have like men's slips, or do they already have them? Like slips for the clothing, like for when we have, if we're wearing sweatpants, and then it's like not like a long john or something like that, or like leggings, but like a slips type of pants. I don't know. Who knows what they're coming out with? It's getting bananas. It's getting bananas. So, anyways, I was talking about, making people nervous and things like that. But on a funnier tip, besides like a scary, stalker scenario, there was like something that would make you nervous, like if you farted in public or farted in the wrong time. Like if it was like a funny fart story, and that would make you super nervous or awkward, even though it was a funny situation. Maybe you were holding it in and, you just couldn't hold it anymore, and it just said kapow. Just kapow. It just came out, and it was just really nothing you could do. And so it would make you nervous and really or embarrassed, and you'd want to just run out of there, get out of the picture real quick. And there's probably been a lot of scenarios like that. I mean, I've had scenarios like that. I mean, I've sometimes, and those are always the worst. When you try to hold them in, it's like a pressure cooker. So either way, this thing is coming out. Like you're building up all this pressure. You don't have a gauge. All you have is the pain and the pressure in your stomach. You're like, oh my gosh, this is gonna happen. I gotta try to get somewhere. Or maybe you got like this, like you see the finish line where you're heading. You see like the safe zone where you're going to let this fart out, and you just don't think you're going to make it. And you got all this pressure, people stopping you, saying hi, or maybe asking questions. You're trying to get there. And every little second is precious and critical, because you got to get there. You got to get there before you have that fart. And, it just doesn't always happen. You get, finally think you're starting to be safe, and then it just starts steeping out. It just starts steeping out. Then you got, oh, man. And then you're doing that run fart, Because there's all kinds of different farts. You're doing that one fart where, it sounds kind of like, I don't know, maybe like the little insect marching band in the old Looney Tunes cartoons. That because you were just running and the fart was going out. And there's always, there's many different kind of farts. But in one of those scenarios like that, and I feel like the more you try to hold it in, I almost feel like you should just let it out and just deal with it real quick, just to end it real quick, just to get rid of it and get rid of the situation and kill the tension real fast. Just real quick, just bam. Oh man, excuse me. And everybody's like, holy shit, okay then. They might chill out. And it won't be a big deal. But I mean, if you held it in and tried to get away, and you had that, the little squeaking thing coming out, and then all of a sudden you started running, and there you go. There you go. Then it makes the scenario more uncomfortable. But I think if you just let them go, I mean, I think that's also easier said than done. Like, who's going to be the one just started to be just like making farts? You just let farts go in public, at workplace, in public, where you just nobody cares anymore. Everybody's just like, boom, damn, was that you? Man, woman, or however you represent yourself. You just start letting them go in public, and everybody's just okay with it. And I mean, I'm sure they're gonna stink real bad if you're on a bus, and everybody, oh, and the bus driver's gonna have to rock the windows, or we're gonna have to open the windows up. But still, I think we just make for another, uncomfortable situation. Because I remember one time I was in my younger teen days when you had like crushes and stuff like that, and I remember this girl had a crush on me, and I mean, I don't know if I was like into like, wanting a girlfriend at the time. I think I was just, I don't know. I just was like not into it, but it was like our group had this group of girls that was going out, like, I don't know, like you would always have this group that was going out with each other. It was just like this group. It was a boyfriend and girlfriend, but I didn't have a girlfriend at the time. And there was just like this group of girls that hung out with us, our group. So they're trying to get us to be all like a couple so everybody can hang out and do this couple shit. And I wasn't having it. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I just wasn't having it, man. It was just, I didn't want to have no girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? So they were trying to push the situation. Oh yeah, you guys should hang out. They would like, set you two together and then just go somewhere else. Just like separate so you guys would talk and end up hanging out. Or maybe, oh, it's time for her to go to her house for like dinner or she's got to go home. Maybe you should walk her home, try to set up these scenarios to get you two together for, talking it out and see if anything, comes out of you two, if anything springs up, any love or connection springs up. So there was this girl, like I said, I was not really into it. I wasn't really wanting a girlfriend, but they were just trying to make us hang out. And she liked me a lot, I guess, so she was kind of pushing the issue too a little bit, trying to be flirty, and it was fun, having fun, and being flirty, trying to play chase, and or punch you or try to get you to chase her and do all this stuff like that. But I just wouldn't chase her, It's just like, oh, haha. She'd run, and I'd be like, oh man, I almost got you. But I was running, So she would come back, and then she got frustrated. So now she's just gonna straight up try to wrestle me. And so she tries to get me in a headlock. I slipped a headlock. Because I'm just a young crazy kid, don't even know what's going on, young hormones. I'm just like, whoa, I panicked. You know what I'm saying? So I slipped a headlock, and then she comes back for another wrestling move, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe I should let her win or something. So I let her tackle me down. And then I want to be careful because I don't want to have no accidental boner or nothing because I'm just a young kid, and I'm in basketball shorts. And I'd be like, oh, no, someone pitched a tent. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want to have that awkward moment. So I was trying to limit the contact. So as I did, you know what I'm saying? So then I roll over and do this smooth move. Like I'm going to roll over and then get up and like try to run away just in case that happens. You know what I'm saying? So I get over and I roll over on top of on her back where she's like in leapfrog status. And I just do this ninja flip off of her back on my back, almost it was some cool ninja move. So I roll off the back, and as I do that, I hit her back, and my back and her back touch. She fucking farted super loud, a super loud fart. I mean, that thing was just it was like if a baby was being burped and you hit him in the back and a burp came out. It was just boom. She must have been holding the pressure during the wrestling match. I was all worried about getting a boner. She was worried about a fart. So it was as soon as I hit, it was pfft. I mean, it was just this big loud ass fart. It just broke all the tension. It was hilarious. I started laughing. She got all nervous. And then she was super embarrassed and didn't want to be my girlfriend no more. So that part, it was like a win for both of us, I think. But there's so many different kinds of farts. Like I said, you got the trumpet, which I spoke on it before, or the one that looks like it sounds like the little band from the Looney Tunes. I wonder what you would call that one. Where you're running and farting. You never know what you can call that one. That one probably has multiple names. So then you got another awkward situation where you would fart. What if you're at a funeral? You're at a funeral and it's all the sad moment. And somebody just the close family member had to do the speech, and, thank everybody. And it's real quiet in there. And then the fart came out, And it wasn't no ordinary fart. Like I said, it was that trumpet. That and it just was at the wrong time. That's when it could be really, really awkward. But trumpet is another one of those farts. That's another type. That you can. That's another one that can get you in trouble and get you in a super scenario. It was just like a. And it's just another one of them farts. So then you got the silent but deadly, which everybody talks about. There's a silent one that's not always deadly. But then you got the silent one that is deadly, where it's just you don't know who took it, who's going to take, nobody's going to take the credit for it. It's just some dead animal just came out. And it just is just the foul ass thing that comes out. I mean, it just changes people's faces. It just changes people's lives. Whoever's in that room, they call that crop dusting when you walk by or you just do the room or you just blast off. And, just people just get the remnants of that fart, the lingering gas line of, as you pull that air current with your walking path, and just people just getting hit like, pff, and it just make your face change. Like, what? You're all everybody turning, following the trail. Like you couldn't have just walked it another direction, and that don't work. You can try and walk it the other direction, but it's going to work its way. It's going to make its way back. If you turn around and come back, there's a chance if it doesn't disperse, it's coming back. It's coming back. So there's another one. Like I said, there's a silent but deadly, and then you got the one that's called the foofer. And the foofer is like one that's like half silent and air with a little bit of sound. So you got the little, and so it's like and that's how I would describe the foofer. It's like a half of sound with air, and it's like all that little mixture right there. The foofer. And here's another one that people may not hear of, but I thought this one was new myself. I never heard of this one either. But somebody calls this one the Big Bang Theory. And I know what you're thinking. I was like, what the hell is this? So someone describes this type of fart as the Big Bang Theory. So this fart would be making a strange noise, whether it could be a trumpet fart or any type of the farts that I'm going to go through here on this list. It's any type of fart, but you're making these conclusions and these theories on if that fart was alone or not, because there could have been debris. And that's the Big Bang Theory fart. So you're going like, should I go check something because of the ratio and the blast and the power and that sound and, am I sweating back there now or did something come out? The Big Bang Theory. That's what that one is. You got to come to the conclusion somehow or some way to figure out if that fart was just alone or did it have company. The Big Bang Theory. And then you got the pincher. And that's what I would think I would describe that one if like you had to fart and you were trying to get to a safe place and then the fart's coming out as you're running. And it's making that, that fart noise every step. You're going and that's what I think is I would call the pincher. Cuz you're holding it as hard as you can, but it's just coming out. And the more you try to hold it, if you cough, sneeze or burp, ask Wendy Williams when she did that cough, sneeze, burp thing on TV. It's a tough thing to do because it's on its way out. Where you go. That funny TikTok video where the lady's running in the house. And you're just like, bing, 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 and that's the pincher. I would think that's definitely the pincher. And then you got another one that's got a couple different names. This one was, like I said, I've never heard of this one. I've heard of the word shart. This would probably be the same thing as a shart, but they call this one the liquidator. Or air chunks. And that could be like the gross, man. The liquidator or air chunks. And that's another, I guess, to me, that's like sharding, I guess. That'd be like sharding. But those names are just more funner. The liquidator. Like, oh, man, we got to go. Why? The liquidator. Because everybody knows the shart word. Like, oh, damn, he sharted it. And you could lip sync shart or lip it. Like people could just read your lips, in some words. Like, you could be somewhere and people can just like read your lips sometimes. So shart. There's no, hiding shart. I know there was that video where it says, am I saying fa or va or whatever the fuck that shit is when they're messing with you. But you are clearly saying it. But that's disgusting. The liquidator. The liquidator would be harder to read, but when you're like shart, you definitely know what it is. Or air chunks. If you say air chunks, they'd be like, what did he just say? But they got to go all of a sudden. I don't know what he said. I tried to read his lips. I thought he sharted, but it looked like, I don't know what he said. Air chunks. He'd be like, something about air ducts. I think he went home with leaky air ducts. And then, speaking of air ducts, you've got the duck or the quacker. And everybody knows about that one. It just sounds like, it's self-explanatory. You got the quacker, quack. And like, who the hell, and that's usually the one where people want to look around because they just let that one out. Maybe they're at the movie theater, you crouch open. It's those leather seats, those fake leather seats. You pinch your leg open a little too wide, which this happened to me before. I was at the movie theater, and the duck came out, dude. I was like, man, it's like those big poofy seats, the electric recliners and all that shit. And I'm all sitting there, and I'm like, man, I just ate all that food before we went to the movies. Now I got all my popcorn and my candy, and I'm just, scrunching it down. I put my seat up, and I'm like, uh-oh, maybe I should change the angle a little bit. I felt the pressure, and I don't want to move because the movie was really good. I was like, man, I don't want to miss this shit. And I feel it. I was like, maybe I could just let it creep out. Maybe I can do the creeper. The creeper is the one you get away with, is where you let the silent one out that doesn't smell. And that's the creeper fart. And I thought I was going to get away with the creeper fart, but no, it wasn't going to happen. I'm sitting there pinching, and like I'm just going to let a little bit out at a time. I was like, oh, I think it's going to work. I think it's going to come out. Then quack! Damn, dude. And I was at the angle, and it was like the great acoustics, of course, here in the theater. And everybody saw my reaction. You had to, because I was in like the middle seat. So people behind me all saw me do that leg work. Look like I was doing the butterfly. Because I was just I like panicked and trying to leg fan this fart out. And I was like, man, oh man, I did the quacker. But that's the duck. And then keeping it on the animal list, you got the frog, self-explanatory as well. It's like that. And you got the fucking, like, oh shit. And that's another one you get you looking around, thinking you blame, anybody you can. But, you just let the frog out. And the frog came out of nowhere. And I've done many of those. I did many of those where I think, because I used to work in the factories and stuff like that. And you think like, oh, the noises are going to be loud enough, and you can just maybe let this thing out. And every time I would do that, it'd be around like a supervisor or like a female or a friend, or they'd be talking about something serious in this, and you still got to let this fart out. You're thinking the machine's making loud enough noise, and it's right when the machine just wants to be quiet is when you let the frog out, like burnt. Like, damn it. And it's just awkward as hell for both of y'all. Like, you couldn't just, like, they knew you were going to fart. Like, you were like, oh, they're looking at you that you couldn't just walk away. And I was like, I don't want to walk away because the machine was going to cover it. The machine was supposed to have my back. It was supposed to make machine noises so I can let this loud fart out and not get away with it. But no, the frog came out, and there was no disguising it. There was no disguising it. And then you got the putter. And the putter could probably be another one where, you could, it's like or Morse code, or maybe it could be that one where you had to, like, another one where you could put in that category where you were running and farting. Because the putter was described as that same thing where you were like walking and you kind of just started letting it out as you were walking, and it made like a putting sound. Not necessarily like it was more the, so that's why they do the putt, like a bad motor. You know what I'm saying? Like a bad motor going in your car. Or maybe like the percolator. The percolator should have been on that list now that I think about it. Like coffee brewing. You got that one fart that, you got that one fart that sounds like it started inside your stomach. Like you're like a fart on the inside. Like, what was that? Like, I just farted on the inside. And then the fart just came out like on the outside. That was like the percolator. In my opinion. Then you got the clapper. Another self-explanatory. That one could have walking, running, sitting down, whether, whatever position you're in, the clapper could happen. You got to be aware of the clapper. And if you have the clapper in your home and you do the clapper, I wonder if it reads it as the same sound and your light shut off or your TV. That'd be crazy if you had some bad gas and you're watching a good show and the clapper just keeps shutting shit off. That pissed me all the way off. And last but not least of the fart list, we have the dying balloon. And that's another one you can pretty much describe that when you pinch the balloon. And I can't even do that noise, but it's the dying balloon fart. And that's another one where you're probably holding it in, and then all of a sudden it can't come out. You can't hold it anymore. The pressure's at its top. It's spilling over the brim, and the dying balloon noise comes out. That I can't even do it, but something like that. So yeah, I came across this silly list, and it was pretty funny, and I hope you all enjoyed that one. And while I was looking at this list, I came across some interesting other list of my own. It's kind of interesting. I found a bunch of like seriously racist candy. Like, for real. Like, I was looking at some candy, like, you know, get ready to go to the theaters and all that stuff. And we go to this one store, and it always has like old school candies, all the old favorites. And we get to watch movies and have movie night at home and all that stuff. And you want to get the, like the snow caps or junior mints, whatever candy it is. The what's that? The red fish. What are the red fish? The sweetest fish. Your Sour Patch Kids. Your whatever candies you like. So I was looking at some of the candies on here, and some of these ones kind of had made me do some double takes, man. Like, wait, what is this? And then I think about some of the candies now when that I ate when I was a kid that are probably get canceled now, because I used to like remember lemon heads. It was like these ones called lemon heads, and then they decided to like change lemon heads and not just stick with one flavor. So they started making like different flavors, and they started doing like different cultures on the flavor, like Alexander the Grape, and they started doing things like that. And what was another one? The Cherry Clans. And the Cherry Clans were like Chinese-eyed candy, and they were really good candies, man. I used to love that. Those are like one of my favorites when I used to go to the old school candy stores in the kid. They were like really cheap too. You can get like a bunch of them, and there were like a pack of like they were like red lemon heads, but a red flavored lemon head, and they were called Cherry Clans. And those would probably get canceled right now. And I couldn't believe I was looking at this candy, and there's another one called Negro. Negro. Like, I'll show you the wrapper. Like, that's what the candy is called. And there's like a dark figure, shadowy figure on the wrapper of the candy. That's kind of messed up. I thought it was some like race, like it'd be considered like some racist candy. And then I seen this other one called Conguitos, and it looks like a chocolate peanut butter mix kind of candy. And it almost looks like they're blackface on the wrapper, like for real blackface on the wrappers of this candy. There's these other ones that are even worse, man. It's called the pickaninnies, and it's like blackface person eating watermelon. Like, what's up? And people are like, man, these are good as hell. Like, I don't know how to like if these are existing right now or are they canceled already, but that's kind of crazy, man. There's these other ones that says kinda or kina, like it's kind of racist. It's another one with like little Chinese-eyed person or person with like Asian eyes of some sort, and it's on the candy wrapper, just like blasting it on there, like the Cherry Clans, man. It's wild. I'm wondering if these are still like available at the stores now. Like, can you get these? Use some racist candies. Like, I can't believe they got these up. Like, and there's a couple other candy brands like that Conjitos and what was the other one that Pickaninnies. They literally have blackface on these candy wrappers. And here's another one. There's a candy, and it's called Black Man. This candy's just called Black Man. And then there's these two other ones here, and they just like straight up have blackface on them for candy. That is just nuts. I'll show you a few of these pictures. I can't believe these candies even exist, humans. These are some of the racist candies ever, man. They're like, oh my God. Okay. This is the last one, and this is kind of crazy, man. This can't be, this stuff can't be existing anymore. But it's called Rots of Ruck candy. That's messed up on you, yo. Whoever named that candy, that's messed up on you. That's all I got to say about that, man. But I was just looking at that list, the fart list, and then I saw these candies, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I had to share this with all you humans. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, I'd appreciate it. Smash that like button, turn on your notifications because I'm here twice a week, and hit me with a subscription. And this has been another episode of Meant to Vent. Till next time, humans. See ya.